What's up, guys? What's up, guys? Crazy old man here. Kind of want to do a check in with everybody, but kind of want to give some framework to what that framework actually looks like and some things that I'll be asking as we go and we look at it and what's taking place. So, just to kind of give you some framework of when we do the Saturday check in. So, it'll probably be earlier than this, but just wanted to do it. So this is kind of the five frameworks. This is kind of birthed out of some transformation that's taken place in my own life, um, and what's taken. So, when we start looking at transformation, most people fail at transformation because they're trying to give up things instead of attach to things. They're running from pain instead of running to purpose. And I kind of discovered this framework during my own transformation. It was actually like around day 49 or something. But I realized I wasn't just quitting drinking, I was investing, becoming someone worth being. And before you check out, this isn't only about quitting drinking. This is about transformation in anything that you might find in your life. These five frameworks work if you kind of combine them all together. So today I'm going to kind of share the five values that actually drive sustainable change. And this isn't theory. I've been living it for 200 plus days now. And the best part, I've searched for the exact combination online and found nothing. So this framework it's actually original, and it just kind of birthed out of, I didn't go to create it. I didn't want to, create something or anything like that. It just kind of happened as I was walking through all of this stuff. So here's why 95% of New Year's resolutions fail by February, right? The old frame, what we kind of do whenever we walk into a new year, I have to give up drinking. I have to work out. I have to eat healthy. I have to leave a toxic relationship. I have to change. And so, there's always these circumstances of things that, man, I got to get out of this fucking situation I'm in so that I can change whatever's taking place, right? So the new frame, kind of what I'm going to talk about today and what kind of actually works is if you reframe those things, right? Drinking steals my presence from the moments that matter. Working out builds the embodiment of strength I want to feel. Every meal either builds or betrays the identity I'm becoming. Toxic relationships block the magnetism for what I really want. My transformation is the legacy that gives others permission to transform. And so you can kind of see the difference, right? One is punishment and the other is purpose, right? So we're not going to be working off of punishment. We're going to be working off of purpose. So when we talk about transformation, so let me kind of walk through these five values. The first one is presence. What do I want to be there for? And, do you want to be there the moment your grandkids takes their first steps, your daughter's wedding, the conversation that could change everything, the quiet morning that makes life worth living, right? So when I was drinking, I was physically there, but I was completely fucking checked out, man. My kids have told me, Dad, you really weren't there. And that fucking hurts, right? Now, every choice is filtered through, does this let me be fully present for what matters? And here's a personal example. I talk to my kids daily now, after years of silence, that presence in action. And so when you think about, presence, here's the test question. Will the choice that I'm making today help me be fully there for what matters? So that's the first part of the framework. The second part of the framework is identity. Who do I want to become? The person you'd actually respect, the example worth following, the story worth telling, the identity that feels true. Every action either builds or betrays the person you're becoming. And when you're attached to the future identity, destructive choices feel like self-betrayal. Here's kind of a personal example. I went from the drunk guy to now I'm a PhD candidate, that's going after a certain percentage body fat. Again, it doesn't have to be about body fats, body type, drinking, anything. This is about total transformation, whatever it is that you're trying to change in your life. That's just a personal example for me. That's not just a goal. That's an identity I'm building with every single choice that I make in my life. right? So here's the test question when it comes to identity. Does this build or does this betray who it is that I am becoming? That's the second part of the framework. The third part of it is embodiment, right? What do I want to feel? And this isn't about appearance. It's about feeling aligned, not fragmented, right? Moving through space without apology, not having to apologize for who you are, trusting your body's wisdom, living without the weight of unprocessed guilt. You know, when we start looking at neuroimaging, it shows um, an embodied comfort has nothing to do with weight, right? It's about the integration of thinking and feeling. When you're attached to this alignment, choices that create internal conflict, it becomes unbearable. So when shit starts hitting the fan and it starts, getting all wacky and you find yourself somewhere outside of the framework of what you're building towards, you don't want to be there anymore, right? So here's a personal example. Again, these are only personal examples, right? So I lost 40 pounds, right, man, gone. But more importantly, I feel trustworthy in my own skin, right? That's embodiment, right? Trusting, what it is that you're working towards. And so here's the test question. Does this make me feel more aligned or more fragmented with the thing that I'm trying to get to? So if you all of a sudden find yourself and you end up in places that aren't driving you to the life that you want to live or the person you want to become, do I need to make an exit, in whatever's taking place? The fourth thing is legacy, man. You see people write about legacy all the time. So when I think of legacy, I kind of think of it this way. What do I want to model? Here's the thing nobody tells you. You don't control your legacy. We think we do by the things that we do, but you live your legacy. You live it. And others write it based on what they observe. Your legacy is written in real time. The thing that you're doing right now, somebody's writing your legacy because they're watching you. You're handing them a pen or a pencil to write your legacy based off the actions that you have. What will your children remember? What will your colleagues, what will they repeat? What strangers will notice? What your actions teach without words? What permission you give others through your example? Personal example. My daughter called my transformation Gideon level. Now, as some of you may or may not know, I got 18 years being a pastor, no longer a pastor, Gideon level. That story wasn't even my mindset, but when she said it, it kind of just like jolted me awake, right? She's watching. My kids are watching. Every choice hands them a pencil to write what kind of man their father really is in real time. So here's the test question about legacy. Is this something I want observed and remembered? Right? So I've got a bunch of examples of life that I've lived that I'm pretty sure I don't want people to observe or remembering, but I did them anyway. So here's a thing that says, what do I want to attract? Right? Like attracts like, period. That's it. Done. Deal. Quality people are attracted to quality. Opportunities find prepared minds. Energy attracts matching energy. Right there, I think I wrote about it where you kind of get the green light, right? You got to be ready for those green lights in your life whenever they come, magnetism. But are you even attracting those green lights to be able to go through? So low vibration choices, they push away high vibration outcomes, right? You cannot attract what you're not willing to become. Let me restate that. You cannot attract what you're not willing to become. Here's a personal example. I'm already attracting different caliber of everything in my life because it's no longer live sitting in a bar somewhere, right? Opportunities, conversations, connection. because I'm becoming someone worth being drawn to. That's not like an arrogant statement. It's just what's I'm finding what's taking place. That's all I can explain what's taking place in my life. So the test question for this is, does this attract what I want or repel it? So why all five of these matter, right? Most people work on two or three values and they wonder why they keep failing. But here's the brutal truth. Destructive patterns only need one gap to survive, only one. And here are the escape routes, right? If you skip presence, I deserve to check out sometimes. If you skip identity, this really isn't really who I am anyway. If you skip embodiment, I don't feel different, so why bother? If you skip legacy, nobody's really watching what I'm doing anyhow. If you skip magnetism, I don't care what happens. So when all five of these are engaged, there's nowhere for your old patterns to hide, man. And what they do is they starve. I love starving out old habits, old demons, and just starve them out based off of the choices and things that we do within our lives. So here's some kind of like daily practice that you can use, before any significant choice. Ask, does this serve my presence? Does this build who I'm becoming? Does this create internal alignment? Is this something I want observed? Does this attract what I want? And if no to any of those things, man, reconsider the thing you're about to do. If you can answer yes to all of those, then you proceed with confidence because you're building towards a thing that you want to become. So this is what I do. Like every single Sunday, I ask myself, because that's kind of how that's most people's work week. But on Sundays, I usually ask myself, where was I truly present this week? Did I act like who I'm becoming? Am I more aligned or fragmented? What did others observe? What did I attract into my life? Takes 10 minutes. That's it. It's the difference between intentional transformation and just hoping things change. And it kind of works off of the formula, if you will, right? Motivation plus ability plus values equals sustainable transformation. So in your life, if you have motivation without any kind of values, it's just kind of like a temporary change, right? Man, I lost 10 pounds. Oh shit, I gained 500 pounds, right? Whatever it is. Ability without values. It's unused potential. We all have unused potential, man. There's something that's blocking the potential that we have, and we got to figure out what in the hell it is that's in our lives that's preventing us from using all of this potential that we have been given. And when you have values without action, it's just philosophy, man. You might as well go get a philosophy major, and I don't know where you're going to get a job with one, but that's all you're working off of. But when you get all three aligned, man, you're unstoppable, right? This is why I get up at 3:30 in the morning. I wake up. It becomes automatic for me, right? Right. This is why when I was in day 49, going through this transformation, became day 200 plus, because I'm not fighting myself anymore. I'm kind of aligned to what it is that I'm trying to do. So think of it this way. You're not giving up anything. You're gaining everything that actually matters. Right? If you're new trans thing, if, we're in the new year, I'm going to go to a gym workout. Every workout serves all five values. Every glass of water instead of whiskey serves all five values. Every no to the old life and yes to the new serves all five values, right? You want to align them to that five value framework. That's how you make the decisions of the things that you look at, the things that you want to do. This isn't sacrifice. This is architecture, right? Building a human worth being. Building you that's worth being, right? So here's some questions, right? Which of these five values is currently driving your transformation? Which one needs more attention? Which one scares the hell out of you the most? Because one of them is really going to freak with you and you're not going to want to do it. right? Because once you realize, man, I always believe in bringing your demons into the light and bringing the stuff out to the light so that it has nowhere to hide. And so, whatever is scaring you or whatever is preventing you from doing the things that you want to do, those are the things that you need to start addressing so that, you know, you can become the person that you've always wanted to be. You know, and I do believe you need to be working on all five of them, but sometimes you need to start with one of them. I didn't start with all five of them. I didn't even know they existed till I started moving through the transformation. Right. So just pick one of them. All right, guys. I kind of want to do a Saturday check in with everybody, and I want to kind of work off these five frameworks as we go through it. And I found this kind of interesting. And the reason I want to kind of set the stage and use this is, you know, I've searched for presence, identity, embodiment, legacy, magnetism as a combined framework, but I found nothing. You know, I found the individual concepts as I was going through because I was like, what does this actually mean? And I found it in various contexts, but this specific five value transformation system, I don't even want to, that's the stupid, lamest freaking fucking name ever. And I'm just going to delete that. But it came just from my own kind of lived experience, right? Battle tested reality from actually doing the work. So, anyway, guys, that's kind of all I got. This first time, I think, going live, but just wanted to check it out. Didn't see any comments. Tell me what you think. I don't know. No one's responding, so maybe all fucked up. Who knows? But I do want to leave you with this. Stop focusing on what you're losing and start focusing on what you're gaining, right? Because that's usually what we're focused on in the long run is, man, if I do this, then I'm going to lose this, that, and this. But there's probably a reason that you need to lose it. And start focusing on what are the things that I'm gaining in my life if I do make these changes. Because it's so much easier to focus on what we lost than what we gain. Because what we gain, man, that's in the future, right? We don't see it. We don't see it happening. We don't even understand if I make these changes, what opportunities or things down the road are going to come to us by making these positive changes in our life. Because when you attach deeply enough to those five things that I just described, destructive choices in your life, they don't require fighting anymore, right? They become impossible because those aren't the things that you're working towards to become. All right, guys, that's all I got, man, for going live. So crazy old man here. If y'all got anything, respond. Not, that's all good. I hope you guys have a blessed day today. It's Saturday. And it's a beautiful day where I am. Hopefully, it's a beautiful day where you are. All right. And if it lets me, I'll put the five values in the description. I don't even know what happens when I end this call, but if it does, then you can look at it there too. And I might write about it later. All right, guys. Have a blessed day. Peace out.